Hello gamers! Welcome to today's YouTube video on the 268 V4. Many of you asked as well, since I said in the E3 video that I like the V4, that I think it's the best or the second best TD after the E3. And the reason why is because you can play this tank aggressive. Now, we get Muravanka from the south, which usually means we're going to go to round 2. The forest is not really playable for a V4 because of the fact that it has no gun depression. The strengths of this tank are, of course, the ammo. It has 293 AP pen. It has 360 heat pen, which is very high. It also has this massive block of armor on the front, where only really the lower plate are penable and the cupola for most tanks. The upper plate is also penable if it's angled down, but yeah, in general, when you wiggle with this tank, move backwards, left or right, it is extremely hard for opponents to pen you or even get a shot on you, and in most cases you'll be out-trading them because of your superior alpha. Many of you remember the V4 was OP back in the day. Probably still is actually, because equipment 2.0 for me made this tank a lot more to what it used to be. Because of the fact you can run HP turbo on it. I go to the bush here to catch maybe a slow opponent coming closer. Since there is no slower opponent, I'm going to be looking towards the E5 instead. The E5 should be a pen for me. He's of course behind this. I'm going to hit him on the crossing there. Give him a shot of damage. E5 not really an issue for a V4. I'll wait for my reload, peek this again. I can snipe his cupola, I can snipe his side. It's not the greatest position for an E5. Almost hit that actually. The straight in the truck is alright because now I actually have a better outline on him. And I should be able to out-trade him over time. I mean, the V4 is not really a sniper in any way or shape or form, it's a brawler. But you are going to be hitting these kind of shots. Not all the time, but regularly enough to make it work, and the E5 is still shooting AP. I'm trying to bait with my front, rocking backwards and forwards, which ruins the shot for him. Hit the ground there. I mean, like I said, it's not a sniper, so you're not going to be hitting that consistently. But you are going to be hitting it from time to time. He's finally switched to heat, smart bunny. We can shoot him to the side there though. Slight high roll, 658 to pick him up. We took one with a 2k. I consider that a good trade, to be honest. There's still an FV behind the size 7, which is a bit of a worry for me. There's also a BZ here. The question really is, can we kill the FV? Because interesting EBI driving. Really interesting EBI driving. I'm gonna push forward slightly here because we kind of have to kill the BZ to make this play work. The 60p is also gonna commit on this man, I think, hopefully. Actually, the V died, which means that our 50b might be pressuring up now. I'm gonna be going with my 50b here, and there's full on pressure onto the BZ. We use the house. We always wiggle to try and hide our cupolas against him. And because you see we have the house there kind of covering us, this adds to our position as well. We can try and push the gorilla, although I don't think we're going to get a shot on him. If we could, that would be epic. If we can't, it's also fine. And then we're going to go back to base right after this. We might actually get a shot against this gorilla here. Aim, aim, aim. Miss, 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 apparently, which is unfortunate. Could have aimed slightly longer, actually. That would have been a possibility. Nice shots from the 60p onto the EBR. Now we're going to be going towards the south, or through the middle, one of the two, or actually just re-push 1-2 fully, because they are pushing my 140, but I don't think my 140 is going to die there. Looking at it, so he should be fine. Instead, I'm going to be moving here. No, I think my 140 is more than fine. But yeah, the V4 is super mobile, super armored. Of course, it doesn't have the greatest gun in the world, but imagine if it did, it would be super, super OP. I want to let somebody else kill this man. I'll take a nice shot against E5 instead. Nobody actually killed him, which I thought they would. Nice shot from the E5. Actually penning that straight on. Good for you. And this tank is 5k capable. Of course, you need a bit of the right MM as well still. And you see the Forge B, I mean, he's shooting AP in his Forge B is always going to struggle with that. There's the TVP closing up. I think we're proxied by the 1-1B. I want the 705A to shoot, or the E5 to shoot, so I can kill them. Nice shot from the 705A. Gives me a pen, the E5 is now dying. I'm gonna be moving to the building here to add slightly more cover. I guess the 705A. He fired again. Look for his lower play. We have all the time in the world to aim here. Got another nice pen against the 705A. Interestingly enough, nobody of my teammates is able to pen him for some reason. It's okay still. I mean, we have 4.5 now. One more pen will make this 5k. The only thing that sometimes happens on the V4, which can be annoying, is the fact that this tank does have kind of how do I say it? Weak fuel tanks, actually. If you have ever played a V4, it does get set on fire from the front. It's a balancing factor, of course. The first B was in front of me. He could have run away. He could have went to drown if he wanted to. He could just be in the corner, and he could be running towards the forest. Instead, he's in front of me. I'm going to be going for the ram here for max damage. And then try to wiggle. We always try and wiggle here, because it really ruins their penalties completely. Because if they can't shoot your lower plate, despite they're not penning with AP, they're just never penning it. You need like really high pen for the lower block of armor, and if you can't really shoot the lower plate when a V4 is like in your face, moving left, right, putting his gun into yours, shielding his cupola, it becomes a real menace to play against, and that's why it's one of my favorite TDs, I guess, even though you could say it's borderline OP with equipment 2.0. Let me know what you think in the comments if you think this is OP. I think it also really depends on who plays this tank to define whether it's OP or not, but it kind of goes for every tank though, right? You know, a potato and a chief is still a potato, right? I mean, it's in a chief, but still a potato. They're not that dangerous, to be honest. They look more dangerous than they really are most of the time. But yeah, V4, 5k capable. Can have really good games on this tank. So we had a 6k there, pretty quick, straightforward. Downside, of course, of it is the fact that it doesn't have really gun depression, which is annoying, but at the same time, it's like, it's needed, right? If this tank also had epic gun depression and like a sniper gun and a cupola the size of the pattern, for example, then it would be so busted. But it's already kind of busted. We got Abi. I actually have this map banned on my other accounts, so it's been a while since we've played this. We have potential to push the 8 line. We also have potential to push 1-2 line. For Abi, it always kind of depends where I see my team go. I just don't like this map in general. If I see them go 8 line, I go 8 line. If I see them go 1-2, I go 1-2. They're going 8 line, so I'm going 8 line. 2 of my top tier heavies are going 8 line. 2 of my lights are going 8 line. With my frontal armor, I should be able to make that work as well. I want to go past them though, because I'm much faster than them in my V4. When driving through this line though, it's a bit iffy always, because you're kind of sideways at certain points. They can shoot you, they can track you, it can hurt. There's no real way to prevent this or to get around this even. I'm not gonna shoot on the move at the Udas because I'm gonna be spotted earlier then. Just gonna stay. Here you can already start turning in to try and bounce if you were spotted. That is a possibility, because when you turn in like that, it ruins their shot on you. For the Udas 1516, I'm gonna be honest with you. There's no real like difficulty level. You drive at him, you shoot him. At this point though, when you're playing, you have to be really careful from the middle, so you have to go close to the wall. Because they have the middle, they control the middle. You want to push back to Udas, because if he gets pushed back, he drives into the 60 TP. Get another good pen on him. Trying to wiggle now to try and dodge the last shot from the Uras, and hopefully he just dies to somebody else, right? Can't really sit here to shoot him anymore. Then we have the Minotauro to deal with. Slightly struggling with gun oppression there. Had a good shot against him. It makes him for just pressuring forward. The Gorilla behind though. A bit of a worry, a bit of an issue as well. VZ as well. It's not really a position you can continue pushing down from. Easy for Mino in reverse, I guess. Easy. We had one more good pen against him though. The V4, the AMX should finish him. He does close out the kill against him. And now the question is, what do you do? In my opinion, at this moment in the battle, pushing forward is usually a mistake because you don't have a real way to kill the Gorilla. My AMX is going though, so I could aim because probably the Gorilla repeaks this. Right? You could assume that the Gorilla will repeak. And even put the 3 in between me and the Gorilla. But I just think in general this is a pretty risky peak to make, but I'm down for it. Right? I'm down for it. And the Gorilla, no look snap, of course. Average Gorilla player. My T100 is taking the shots, epic. Team player T100, we love to see it. If he sees either a single shooter or incapable of deciding when to peek, either of the two is fine for us though. Let him push the AMX, that's fine. He's gonna die now against the T100, so you just bypass him altogether, continue forward towards 1-2 line, and yeah, all in all, already a pretty good game so far. There's a Manticore here still though. I'm gonna be reloading into HG to get the peak, to maybe get the RAM as well. Goodbye Manticore. That was a clean 1000 damage for not really doing too much. So I'll take that one as well. Good play there against the Manticore. Absolutely rolling him. I mean, we're still down on HP though, and I'm also below one-shot capability here. Luckily enough, I'm not spotted. I could have snapped the V4 there because I would have possibly seen his underplane. And that's why you have to be careful with a tank like the V4 when you peek like that. Exposing against heat is always a bit risky, right? So, yeah. Now the Uda speaking though. Could have maybe went for that shot. Wasn't too sure about taking it though. He might peek it like it's again. Although even that is a bit doubtful, I would say. Pressuring the AMX is also a bit risky though. Unless my 60p takes the shot. If my 60p takes the shot, then we should be fine. If the 60p takes the shot, then we can just push and kill him. Okay, so the 60p took the shot. Very good. Well done, Mr. 60p. I don't have that much time though. I go for the snap because I kind of have to hit the shot to save my 60p. And now there's the V4 there pressuring the Leo. I could reverse to try and get the shot, actually. He might not be aware of this. He's on reload as well, which does help a slight amount. He still might not be aware of this angle fully. And drive forward. Even more so when he gets flying by the T100. Not hitting the shot there is a bit unfortunate. It was worth a try. It doesn't work out. Still a nice 6-hit battle so far though. Maybe there's room for one more shot on the guy on the cap, which would be cool to give us a nice 7k battle in this. Not blocking too much in this battle though, and I feel like it's a bit unlucky as well. I mean, Mino hits the shot driving backwards, not aiming. Gorilla hits the shot peeking and snapping because Gorilla does have quite a long aim time. All of those things are like, yeah, well, it's gonna happen. It is gonna happen. There's not much you can do about it. It's something you gotta live with. So I spot the 60 TP out. We're gonna just take our time to aim. He's turning to the side. Take a good shot against him for 669. We'll take it. He's not gonna snap this either. He's getting shot by the Leo now as well. Probably not gonna stay on the cap. If he does, it's a mistake. And get the kill on him as well with 619. to hit that shot. So very nice 7.5 a battle. And now it doesn't even matter what we do in the last one, because we're already gonna have a good session on this no matter what. I mean, the AMX is capping, doesn't matter. I think we'll probably die against 60p, I'd assume. Or be low HP. Yeah, it's fine. So nice 7.5k battle. Pretty straightforward. Pretty good. We like this. We take these. V4 gameplay in a nutshell, man. You have pen. We have armor. We have basically everything a man could need to get a good game. And yeah, I think when you just get used to playing this tank, it's incredible. I think the issue with most people that play the V4 is 1, wrong equipment, 2, wrong field mods, and 3, just their YOLO tendency. Anyways, let's get into the last battle here, see what we can do on the V4 beauty. We get Malinovka and counterplays. Standard battle though. This is usually a pretty hard one, for the simple fact that there's so many heavies, and V4 is not known for its cupola sniping abilities, to be honest. We could go towards the hill. We have the slightly better lineup for it, I guess. We have the double AMX, 279, triple VZ. Only thing that they have, which we don't, is the VK, because we have 75 ace, but we're not going to go out. But the rest of the types for our hill play are possibly pretty good. We could try it. We could try it and we could go for it, which is what I am going to be doing at this moment in time. I'm going to be going hill. Could also sit and snipe, but there's no light, which makes it not that good. Again, I will remind you of something. When there is no lightings available, and literally not even any mediums either, nothing that can spot you early, there is about 0 needs to take the long way through the forest. And why? It's just longer. It takes more time. You do have to be careful from this bush though. You can dodge that by going left of the church instead of going right. I simply don't think that the enemy team will be sending anybody there whatsoever. So I'm just going to be driving almost as straight as I can. Left of the church is just a bit safer. You don't gain much from going right. But in MMs like this and games like this, taking the long way in general is just a mistake. I wish my other M4 came to the hill with me as well. At least I have triple VZ though. I will bully my way to the windmill because it's the best position for me, because also my cupola is on the right. I peek from the left from the windmill, so that is also in my favor. Of course, I still have the issue that when I'm playing on the left of the windmill, my lower plate is going to be pretty easy for them to see, shoot as well, so I have to remind myself to keep rocking backwards and forwards to try and prevent this. But that's about it. My cupola will be hidden, but in return they'll have a better shot at my lower plate. STB is going to drown because he is in the water. Yeah, like this, he's in the water. I'm going to be playing from here. The 50B is there. Get a nice shot on the 50B. Just fine. Also, this is pretty safe from Artie altogether as well, which is another like really big upside to play in this position here. Like I said, I just have to be careful that they don't snipe my lower plate. Not a cupola sniper, by the way. Snipes the cupola on the first shot. Okay, buddy. I want to be switching to heat here pretty soon though, especially because of the Rhino as well. There's another VZ there. Not really a good shot on him whatsoever. Trying to hide my cupola. Yeah, well, I mean, that's more like it, to be honest. Let's say I'm max pressure in the lower side, mistake. And I don't really want to leave this spot here, but I'm gonna go peek the Rhino, because I love peeking Rhinos. Such a fun tank to play against. What's up, Mr. Rhino? I love Rhinos, dude. They're so fun to play against. VK Heat is also a pretty big threat to us, but he just fired. So that's on reload. The VZs are now running away. In this scenario, I would always recommend you to go for the damage. And the damage is on the VK apparently. You could also shot the other VZ that was running away, but yeah. So the Rhino dies. I did talk about VK Heat and the danger of it. It seems like the VK has delivered upon this. And a nice pen there. When you always want to do this, what I'm doing now, most of the time, because it does shield your cupola against the VK. We want him to shoot somebody else than us now, because then we can pen his side plate pretty easily. VK is not really the biggest danger for us. We'll take the rest of their tanks first though, like the VZ there. Use medkit, tap him for 713. Get a nice 30k now. Again, we wait for the VK to fire because, well, it makes sense. Once the VK fires, our life becomes a lot easier. We can pen the entire mantlet of the VK, by the way, with this heat. If we hit it, that hit the gun, not the mantlet. If he dies, that would be ideal though. Because I already want to start moving away from this and shoot the SD2 instead, who's in the open as well, kinda, but not really. I'm gonna continue moving here. My team's a bit faster than me, which is a bit of an issue. Because it's not something that I take into account right now, that they're just gonna be YOLOing down, which they are doing. And they should be doing, of course. I'm gonna fault them for that play, because it's the correct thing to do if you want to do damage. And that guy's gonna blow up in his VZ. It means I'm gonna try and shoot the first B here. We aim it out. Sight is always spendable on the first B unless he turns more, then you switch. Go straight under him. Again, that's really unfortunate, to be honest. Also because the FV gets spotted basically at the time that I'm looking at the first B. Again, that's just the kind of things that you cannot predict. I'm gonna snap this actually. 690, 4k now. Might even be able to spot some of the IDs or the 60TP sitting in the base. I spot the 60TP, which is where my next shot is gonna go. Side is completely pennable in this regard. We do get the shot, we also get the assist, and we're really just running it down. The first B round, which is also very sad because that is our 5k damage there because he was full HP in his first B. The last already has to be in the corner though. This is what we're going to be aiming for. Without the first B drowning, we get a quick snap, we still get 5k. Look at his first B, man. Full HP first B drowning, which is unfortunate, but still, quick 5k coming out of the V4. Absolutely demolishing people left, right, and center. I mean, you know. But for Mali Hill, you only go Hill if you feel like you have enough tanks. Committing windmill in general, you're going to have games in which you feel like you have a lot of people with you, and they stop, and you lose the windmill. This happens. There's not much you can do about it. But yeah, in a 15-1 battle, I think this is a pretty good result. Unlucky for the VK. Because, yeah, that's unfortunate. But over the 3 games, 6.2 on the V4. I think it's really showing why this tank is so powerful as it is in equipment 2.0. This is the setup I use. I never deviate from it. It's HP, turbo, and rammer. Sometimes a bounty turbo also makes a big difference on this, by the way. But yeah, sometimes you can take IRM, but in general, I like the turbo more. Then this one here is the must-have field mode. It's the suspension durability one. It's epic. Then you have the aiming circle size, you have the view range, you have the... I have the extra vehicle hit points. You could also not take this. You could also go right, have slightly lower HP, that's possible, or nothing. It's all a choice. I have left on this, I think, because for Clan Warriors I have it for the extra HP, but I could definitely go right on this, or nothing as well. And then here you have the suspension repair speed, engine power. This is possible to play. However, in general, reverse speed is recommended for most people because it adds onto the balance from the turbo as well. So again, a choice. You could take left. You don't really need it though. The engine power is nice to have. Again, it's more for Clan Wars, for top speed, for ramming as well. In general, I would recommend the right field mod. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I hope I give you some tips, tricks, and insights on what to do and how to play. And I'll see you guys all on the very next one. Thank you for watching. See you guys soon. Peace, boys.